Hey friends, Andy Anderson here, the Mischievous Maestro, and now we're going to make a really amazing drink. La Boheme, you think about the opera, you think about the word bohemian, and to me, one of the first things that comes to mind is France and that turn of the century, the Bohemian Revolution, and you think about, or at least I think about, absinthe. So I'm going to teach you how to make an absinthe drip, one of the most famous classic cocktails and one of the original classic cocktails in the repertoire. Now, before we get started, I will say this is my disclaimer with this drink. You absolutely must be careful doing this because you have to flame the drink. And in order to do that, you have to have fire, high alcohol content. You've got to be careful. Don't lean over the drink when you do it. Don't get really wasted before you do this and impress all your friends because you will send your eyebrows, you will set yourself on fire, and chances are you might set your house or apartment on fire. So always have safety protocols in place like a fire extinguisher, showing here. Thank you, Yvonne. So, my friends, here is the absinthe drip. Now, I know I've scared you from it, but you're going to love the drink. Also, don't be afraid of absinthe. We've all heard horror stories. We've seen Moulin Rouge. We've seen, and heard all of these stories about Van Gogh drinking too much absinthe and cutting his ear off and mailing it to his lover and all of this stuff. Absinthe is really, today in America, is quite harmless. It doesn't have the wormwood in it that makes it the hallucinogenic anymore. It does have wormwood, just not that particular kind. But it is a very, very, very high alcohol content. Also, if you're like me and you like black jelly beans or the flavor of licorice, this is going to be one of your favorite drinks. So, let's start. You have to have an absinthe spoon. Now, usually when you buy absinthe in the store, in the box, it has a picture of Van Gogh with a missing ear. It's going to come with a spoon. If not, just pick one up, order it online, whatever. Put it over your glass. Take a sugar cube. Put it on your absinthe spoon. And now you're going to measure out 1.5 ounces of absinthe. So the first time I had this drink was in New Orleans, and I like to tell people that I grew up in New Orleans. I wasn't born there, but I do kind of consider myself having grown up there since it was my college days, and we all grow up in college, right? I had absinthe the first time in New Orleans, and I've had it in France. I've had it all over the world. I've had the good stuff, and then I've had what we have here in America. Which is perfectly fine. I don't want the good stuff anymore. I'm too old for it. So 1.5 ounces of absinthe, pour it over your sugar cube that's on your absinthe spoon over your glass. So there you go. The legend is that when you drink too much absinthe, the green fairy joins you and entertains you. I've never seen the green fairy, but I'm colorblind, so I wouldn't know if it was green, red, blue, or whatever. Anyway, so we've soaked the sugar cube in absinthe. The absinthe is in the glass. The spoon is still there. Now we're going to light a match. Be careful with this again, guys. I've warned you. Just have fun, but be careful. Light the sugar cube. Extinguish the match. Now, right now, the sugar cube is caramelizing. It's burning the alcohol off of the sugar. It's kind of hard to see in this particular light. We're going to let it burn just for a few seconds. Whenever we kind of see the sugar cube dissolving, as it's doing right now, and what it's doing is it's melting, it's taking the sugar and it's putting it down into the absinthe. Now, what we don't want to happen is the sugar cube on fire to fall into the glass of absinthe. That's when Yvonne would be pulling out the fire extinguisher. So right now it's making this really cool noise, and we're going to very slowly pour in about 2 ounces ice cold water. Just a little bit at a time. What we're wanting to do is dissolve the sugar. Now, if we were in an absinthe bar, they would have this really cool contraption that would hang over the glass that would very slowly, over a period of a couple minutes, drip the water into the glass from the sugar cube. So that's about 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces of ice cold water. Now take your absinthe spoon, put it over in, give it a good stir. And you know you've done this right if it's fairly cloudy. You don't want it to be this bright neon green. You don't want it to be clear. You want it to be cloudy. And that, my friends, looks like a good time. Absinthe Drip. Cheers.